What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. Today is September 6th, 2021. This video, I'm going to be continuing my series doing some record predictions for each NFL team. Trying to hurry up and finish these before the regular season starts on Thursday. It's crazy to think, the NFL season starts this week. Looking forward to it so much. And this video is of the New York Jets. I'm very, very excited to watch this Jets team this season. They have so much young talent. I think they have a chance to be one of the better teams in the NFL. Maybe in a couple years. They brought in the former defense coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers, Robert Saleh, to be their next head coach. They traded Sam Darnold to the Panthers in the offseason, and they drafted Zach Wilson second overall from BYU. I really think Zach Wilson can be the quarterback for the Jets. Everybody, thinks these Jets quarterbacks are like Chad Pennington and Mark Sanchez and Sam Darnold. I really think Zach Wilson has potential to be the best of any of those quarterbacks. I'm very, very excited to watch him this year. And I mentioned the Jets, they traded Sam Darnold. That's kind of going to the first matchup of the season. The Jets travel to Carolina to take on Sam Darnold. This is going to be a very interesting game. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the most intriguing storyline week one matchups of any game this upcoming week, which is, it's like I said, it's just crazy to think the NFL regular season is this week. But Sam Darnold, he was supposed to be he was the golden boy coming out of college. He's the best quarterback prospect in forever. He's going to be the savior of the New York Jets. That could be nothing farther from the truth. He was horrible with the Jets. I don't think anybody expected him to be this bad. He did not have a good offensive line. He did not have many targets, weapons during his time with New York. He struggled a lot. And I will say that's the one thing I feel like the Jets did with Zach Wilson in the offseason. They gave him, offensive linemen. They gave him weapons. They drafted Elijah Moore. They signed Corey Davis. They also have second-year wide receiver Denzel Mims from Baylor. They drafted Elijah Vera Tucker, the offensive lineman from USC. So Zach Wilson, to me, really has more weapons than Sam Darnold ever had with the New York Jets. This game is just very interesting. I don't see the Jets winning this one, though, because I feel like, in my opinion, the Panthers are one of the more sleeper teams this season. They have Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league, DJ Moore, the most underrated receiver in the NFL, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall Jr., and a great offensive-minded offense coordinator in Joe Brady. I don't see the Jets winning this one, but I think this has potential to be just a very good game, just simply because I think it will be close, and I think it, just with Sam Darnold's revenge against the Jets, because that tenure during with his time with the New York Jets clearly was not good at all. As we continue here in week 2, they host the New England Patriots. This will be a long day for the Jets. You look at rookie quarterbacks against Bill Belichick. I don't even know the stat. It is just something absolutely wild. And for instance, look at last season. Justin Herbert was the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen last year. And that's coming from a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan. And you look at this. Justin Herbert was shut out by the New England Patriots last year, 45-0, which is just mind-boggling and crazy considering all the stats and all the accomplishments and all the records that Justin Herbert broke last season. And they get absolutely shut out against the New England Patriots. And with a better overall team than this Jets team does, I just think this will be a long day for the Jets. I don't see them winning this one here. At week 2, they drop to 0-2. Week 3, they go to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos. I can maybe see them winning here. It kind of depends who's quarterback for the Broncos, whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, but still at the same time, you don't really know what you're going to get out of these two quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater is the more consistent of the two. Drew Lock is wildly inconsistent, but he has potential that we haven't seen yet. But with this Broncos team, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Albert O, Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, you give this Broncos team an average, consistent quarterback, I think they're 100% a playoff contender. But I really don't fully trust Bridgewater or Lock. I want to take this win here for the Broncos simply because they have an overall better roster. They're a much, much, much more experienced team. But don't be surprised that maybe the Jets can possibly pull off an upset victory here in week 3. But ultimately, I have them losing here. They drop to 0-3 on the year. Week 4, they host the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans, lots of people think they are in contention to win the AFC South. I don't think they're going to win their own division. Obviously, in my opinion, I think they're a playoff contender, like most people believe as well. But, just with the Titans, bring in, Julio Jones. They have A.J. Brown, who's a really nice young rookie, not a rookie receiver, but a nice young receiver. Derrick Henry, who's the second best running back in the league. My issue with the Titans is their defense. Last year, they were horrendous. I believe they were last year in sacks. So Jadeveon Clowney did not have a single sack for them last year. Despite them not being as good, in my opinion, like people think they will be, I still just don't see the Jets winning this one here. Week 4, I dropped to 0-4. Week 5 in Atlanta, I think this is, realistically, this might be where we see the Jets' first win of the season. I have them losing here because, Atlanta, playing at Atlanta is, I want to say it's hard to play, but it's kind of difficult at times. They lost Julio, like I mentioned, to the Titans. They have Kyle Pitts, Ridley, Matt Ryan, who's not going to be with Atlanta much longer. This is really a toss-up to me. The main reason I picked the Falcons winning this one is because this is in Atlanta and they're the more experienced team. But I would not be shocked one bit if we would see the Jets end up winning here in Week 5. Week 6 is their bye week. So coming into their bye week, they are 0-5. Obviously, that you can't get worse than 0-5. But, this schedule to me isn't easy, by any means. I think, the first 5 games for those teams are playoff contenders. And like I said, would not be surprised if their first win was that, Falcons game. So you kind of got to look at the positives about this. They're playing some very difficult teams early on in the season. As we continue here in Week 7, they go on the road to take on the New England Patriots. And like I said, I just do not see the Jets beating the Patriots this season. I feel like the Jets have a better chance of beating the Bills or the Dolphins than the Patriots this year. I think this will be a long game for Wilson and the Jets. With this, they drop to 0-6. Week 8, they host the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals will win this one here, but I'm very intrigued by Joe Burrow and Zach Wilson. This matchup to me is a must-see game, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm a big Bengals fan. If you've not seen my videos before, and with Zach Wilson, I've told people this multiple times. If Zach Wilson and Joe Burrow both came out the 2020 class, and the Bengals, with the Bengals having number 1 pick, I honestly think I might have rather had Zach Wilson than Joe Burrow. That tells you how much of a big Zach Wilson fan I am. I think Zach Wilson and Joe Burrow are the best quarterback prospects in several years. And I think this is going to be a great matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if this is high scoring because, despite Robert Saleh, being a defensive-minded guy, they signed Carl Lawson, who was actually with Cincinnati last season, but he is out for the year with, I believe, an Achilles injury. And the Bengals defense, it's average at best. So I wouldn't be surprised maybe this is a high-scoring game. But I do have the Jets losing this one here. They drop to 0-7. Week 9, one of the more difficult games on their schedule. They had to take on, in my opinion, a Super Bowl dark horse in the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis is not an easy place to play. I feel like this Colts team is going to be much, much, much better than this, than most people realize. The trade to get Carson Wentz was just spectacular, for the whole Colts organization. I really feel like, Wentz is going to really have a breakout season in Indianapolis. I don't see, the Jets winning this one here because, the Colts have a fantastic offensive line, but they also have a great defense as well. I think that might give Zach Wilson some trouble. And with this loss, the Jets drop to 0-8. And, this is kind of crazy. Their Week 10 is their first win. And of all the games, it's a home game against the Buffalo Bills. So in Week 10, their first victory, they get a huge win against the Buffalo Bills, who ended up winning the AFC East last season. And they were in the AFC Championship game last year. I think the Bills are a Super Bowl contender. And Josh Allen was spectacular last season, an MVP candidate. But you also have to look at there's an occasional times where, Josh Allen is inconsistent. You're looking at this, the Bills, despite winning the AFC East last season, at times they did kind of struggle a little bit, against teams that had some close games. I know it sounds crazy. I just really think, every single team has one game they absolutely should not lose. And I feel like this is the Buffalo Bills game here at Week 10, and a huge, massive victory here for the New York Jets. I mean, you start off 0-8. I mean, your first wins against the Super Bowl contender, that's really going to get some momentum going. Really, maybe bring a spark into this team. So we continue here in Week 11 here. They take on the Houston Texans. Week 11. They take on the Miami Dolphins at home. I could see this one being close. I just do not trust Tua Tagovailoa. This Dolphins team had 10 wins last season with, the Fitzpatrick and Tua splitting, games, which is very, very impressive. But I don't see the Jets winning this one, but I do think it's going to be close. Wouldn't be surprised if this may be like a 3-point victory here by the Dolphins. I think it's going to be closer than people think. With this loss, they dropped to 1-9 on the year. Week 12 at Houston, they get an easy win here. They improved their record to 2-9. Every single team who plays Houston, that's automatically their easiest game in the schedule. I know on my record predictions, if you missed it, I had the Texans going 0-17. I really think it's a realistic chance. They had 4 games won last year with Deshaun Watson, a top 8 quarterback in the league. They're not going to get hardly any with Tyrod Taylor. I feel that's an easy win for the Jets. And they improved to 2-9. Week 13, they host the Philadelphia Eagles, and you look how I was mentioning. There's games where each team should win, and there's one games they just lose and they shouldn't. I feel like this is the Jets. They take on Philadelphia at home, and they lose here to drop to 2-10. But I would not be surprised at all if we would see the Jets, winning this one. I feel like this is just maybe a game they should win, and then just Wilson has a bad day and they end up losing. With that loss, they dropped to 2-10. The Week 14 matchup, they take on the New Orleans Saints. I feel like this might be closer than people think. The Saints lost quite a few players, on defense this past offseason, like Malcolm Brown and Trey Hendrickson. They no longer have Drew Brees. Him retiring and everything. Michael Thomas is on the PUP list, but there's also rumors that he wants to be traded. So who knows what happens with Michael Thomas? He might not be playing in this game. But I have them losing, but this will be closer than people think, in my opinion. Wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe like a 3-point victory or something like that. Kind of catch people off guard by how competitive this Jets team is. And that's something I've said in previous videos, and especially my AFC East divisional preview video. This Jets team is not going to get a lot of wins, but I think they're going to be extremely, extremely competitive. To the point, like, you can't take the Jets lightly despite them being a young team. And they might have like 3 or 4 wins going to Week 14 or something like that. But you got to play them tough because they're a team who they can compete with some of these, more decent teams like the Saints and like the Dolphins and different stuff like that. Speaking of the Dolphins, I actually had them getting a home win, on the away win in Miami against the Dolphins Week 15 to improve to 3-11. Like I was saying, this Dolphins team to me, and look at the young talent they have. They don't really have star players on defense, a ton of players on defense. But Robert Saleh, he gets the best out of his defense, just like he did in San Francisco. I feel like this offense is going to be really fun to watch. And Tua, like I was saying earlier, I do not trust him at all. He's very inconsistent. And I feel like we could see a big upset victory here with the Jets getting a huge road victory against the Miami Dolphins to improve to 3-11. Week 16, they host the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get a win here. Number 1 versus number 2, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Should be a very, very, very fun game to watch. I think this will be close, but I have the Jets, pulling the victory here because I trust Robert Saleh's coaching more than I do Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer to me is just a very questionable, bringing him as a head coach in Jacksonville. Very questionable in my opinion. Robert Saleh, I think he's going to have a better success this season than Meyer. The Jets overall have a much better team than the Jaguars. I think they get a win there in Week 16 to improve to 4-11. Week 17, they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is exactly double the age as Zach Wilson to the actual day. To me, that's pretty interesting. He's playing somebody literally double his age. Tom Brady's the best quarterback of all time. Zach Wilson, in my opinion, has potential to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. in just a couple of years. I feel like this will be a long day though for the Jets, and they're going to lose this one here. They drop to 4-12 on the season. Week 18, a road game. Actually, that should be a road game against the Buffalo Bills. They lose this one here, and they drop to 4-13 on the year. Just do not see them beating the Bills twice. I just had them a major upset victory against the Buffalo Bills, which I think is possible. Like I was saying, this Jets team might not get a ton of wins, but I think they're going to be very, very competitive. The overall record prediction for them is 4-13, which I do not think is bad at all. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if maybe win a couple more. My ceiling for them is 6-11, and my floor for them is 3-13. And that really about does it for this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I would really, really, really appreciate it. I will see you all next time on the Sports 2 Show.